Good morning, folks, from Burley, who is napping on the couch. It is warm and cozy in here. I am plenty comfy, but outside I want to show you what's going on. The snow is starting to slow down just a little bit. It is piled up. I had it shoveled yesterday. We got about 8 inches maybe yesterday. I had everything shoveled, level with the bottoms of the windows again. Now it is that far above the windows again. We got, I gotta measure again, about an hour ago we had 16 inches since midnight. It's really deep now. This is all I can see out my window. You can barely see the woodpile over there. You can just see the tippy top of my swing set frame from the summer out there. I think that's 7 feet high. It's still coming down. It's a finer snow than it was, so I'm not sure how well it's showing up there. If I look outside here, which I have not shoveled yet clearly this morning, but again, this was all shoveled clean yesterday from the 8 inches we got. That's what you can see of my vehicle out there right at the moment. And I think, for the first time, I am genuinely snowed in until some snow gets cleared. My plow guy's not even entirely sure he is going to make it out of the house or down the roads. One of the 3 roads into the area is closed over the mountain for avalanche control, and so that may mean there's quite a few plow drivers who can't get to their plows to even start work. I think the airport's closed, and not much going to be happening for the next little bit other than snow shoveling. Check out that pillow on top of, again, cleared yesterday, so since midnight that pillow is on top of my trash can that holds my ashes. So, snow shoveling it is. That is what I will be doing. Okay, good morning, guys. This is definitely our biggest storm of the year so far. This is just the path Burley's made this morning. You can see it's almost level with his back, and he's about 20 inches now. So, shoveling. This is what is going to be happening today. It is pretty well over my head on these banks. I cannot see over that anymore. My eye level is hitting a little below it, and that's before I shovel this up there. Some part of me does realize when you get a storm like this that it's a lot of work, but the other part of me looked at and was like, oh my goodness, biggest storm of the year, or at least the most overnight. We got 16 inches in about 9 hours. Just makes me excited. I like snow. It's still snowing. I don't know when it's supposed to stop. The forecast said 3 to 5. We're at 16, so they missed that one just a bit. I do like to keep my pathways decently wide so I can walk around all winter, no matter how many more times it may do this in the year. So the snow will kind of pillow out and fill in these edges and keep making them narrower, which is why I go along and just kind of use the shovel like a blade to cut them back again. I always get questions about why don't I have a snowblower. Short answer is I like shoveling snow. It's quiet and peaceful. I can listen to audiobooks while I shovel because it's quiet and peaceful, and this shovel's like indestructible and lasts for, I don't know, probably not forever, but for many years with no gas, oil, maintenance, spare parts, any of that kind of thing. And I do love winter. Even and sometimes especially when the winter looks like this. Some of you guys I know are going to say, oh, spring's coming soon. It is some places. This is beginning of February. I don't expect it to be spring here for somewhere between 3 to 4 months yet if we have a normal year. Though I've seen years where it kept snowing straight into June. Oh, and also for everyone who thinks it's crazy how much you shovel here. Hi, baby. Really loves bouncing in the snow, as you have probably all seen by now. Once I'm done shoveling here, I will probably I will for sure be shoveling other places, but I will probably be walking, and thus the lane is cleared to the next house to start shoveling out doorways and pathways and such. But yeah, when I'm done here, I usually have about 6 other homes to shovel. And it's getting deep enough. I may have some other roofs to shovel. I've done 1 so far this year, but it may be getting enough weight. It may be getting enough weight now to need a few more shoveled. Not mine, as you can see, the snow's sliding. It's been coming off in chunks. There's some up there, some is, it keeps kind of just going in pieces as it, as each, piece slides. It never hardly stays up there long enough to even get a good picture of it. So again, I shoveled 8 inches of snow yesterday. And this is another 16 since midnight. And who knows how much more we're going to get. If it's a little less substantial storm, I will often wait till it's done, to shovel it all at once. But once you have 16, you may as well get started. And Barely is pretty good at entertaining himself with wood chips or moose turds or whatever while I shovel. Well, most of the snow is really light and fluffy. It does get a little denser right here because of the snow sliding off the roof right there, kind of compacting. Somebody asked me about my shovel. This is a Polypro. They're sold at our local Ace Hardware here, I believe, but for the kind of snow I have, I don't know if it's what I would love if I had a lot of ice or a lot of wet snow, but for deep fluffy snow, this thing's awesome. It's one solid piece. It lasts forever. It's virtually indestructible, and it's the perfect, size and weight and length for just what I'm most comfortable with. And I know there's a lot of variation. People are more comfortable shoveling with different kinds of shovels, but I really like this one. Been using it for quite a few years now, and I've moved a lot of snow with it. Have to keep all these walls really vertical, but I do partly because I like the way it looks, and partly because it helps make it easier to maintain, because if I angle them the one way or the other, the snow piles up on them more than if they're as vertical as I can make them. So that's why I do that, in case you're wondering. At least we can get from the house out to the driveway conveniently. Not that it can go anywhere very conveniently from the driveway or from the road once you get there. Like I said, one of the 3 roads into the county is closed at the moment. The airport's closed, and unless you got somewhere you really have to be, probably may as well stay home today, because the other side of that closed road is where a lot of the employees in the area do live. So a lot of the teachers and firefighters and cashiers and everybody else that works in a lot of local businesses is not able to get to work today. So unless there's something you absolutely have to do, you may as well not go there either. You can hardly even see the bird feeders at this point. I wanted to shovel out my little trail to them so that I can fill them up for them. They've still got a little bit of seed. Just a note about snow depth. For reference, I am about 5 foot 8 inches, and if you live in snow country, you pretty quickly learn there's a difference between snowfall and the snowpack. So the snowfall is every time it, snows another couple inches here. That is usually very light and powdery and will compact. So if you got 5 inches in one storm, as it sits on the ground, it doesn't stay 5 inches deep. It'll compact, some will evaporate and turn into hoarfrost if it's really cold. Hey, that's enough, baby. That's enough. He's barking at the little birdies. The snowpack's finally high enough you can get really close to him. So that 5 inches won't stay 5 inches. If you get another 5 inches on top of it, it'll kind of compact from the weight, and all of a sudden the whole total, instead of measuring 10 on the ground, would measure, let's say, 8. This varies depending on the water content in the snow and all of that. But so on. So now that we're at close to 300 inches of snow for the year, the snowpack is actually, whatever this is, a little over my head in most places, because it keeps compressing and getting thicker and denser, and that's why these places that I've kept clear, I can kind of go back to my hard, where that's all soft and fluffy because that came down overnight. This is more of a firm, hard wall because I've been keeping that shoveled all year. I'm sure somebody's going to ask why I keep so many pathways maintained. Short answer is most of them I need. I'm going to clear around the house next, and I do have to be able to get to, check on propane tanks, fill my water. I want to keep the snow away from the windows so I can see out all winter. But I can't see very far at this point now with how tall the rest of the snowbanks are. Hi, beautiful. The shed over there, I keep the path over there because that's the location that makes the most sense to have it the rest of the year. Plus, some people are like, well, put it right beside your house. I don't want it right beside my house. I keep things like gas cans and such in there that I want to have some distance from the house. So I maintain that pathway, and I have to be able to get out to my car. And this one is actually a mistake. Normally in the fall, in the summer, I keep the bird feeder a little further away. It's actually in a flower bed. And normally in the fall, I pull it out and stick it right here so I can just kind of make this a wider apron and be able to get to it. Last fall, it got cold and the ground froze pretty early, and I wasn't quite prepared, and by the time I remembered I wanted to move it, it was far too frozen into the ground to move. So this little pathway is a mistake this year that I've been keeping maintained just so I can keep feeding the birds in the winter. Normally, that thing should be right here, and I wouldn't be making this little pathway. So that's a good lesson to have your act together. If you're going to live somewhere cold, doing things ahead of time is generally a good plan, but sometimes things like that happen. you can see, I like to just scoop the snow away level with the base of the windows, because for one, I like to be able to see out all winter. I can't see very far anymore, and also because if the snow would warm up and melt it all, I don't want any moisture to be sitting right on the edge of the window frame to be able to leak inside. I've done this quite a few times already this year, but I just kind of cut my snow skirting off level with the top. You can tell a little bit how steep the snowbank is, or the earth bank is on that side where it falls off down to the creek below my house, because any snow I pitch that way just disappears. That's why the pile is not there. It's flat-ish right about over there, and then it goes very steeply down for just a bit. If you're wondering about staying warm in the winter, I do have a whole video about my warm winter clothing. But when it's in the 20s and one is shoveling snow, I can tell you being warm is not a problem. I would be in a t-shirt if I didn't mind getting kind of wet from the falling snow melting. That's the only reason I'm still wearing a sweatshirt and a hat, but I am sweating. And sweating is a good thing because it helps your body flush toxins out and so on. This is why people have used saunas for many, many years, so that's not a bad thing either. The other pathways question I often get is, why is my wood pile so far from the house? A few reasons, but the main one is, for one, that stuff that's uncovered is just the for fun in the summer outdoor burn pile. So that is not my winter supply of firewood with snow on it there. But the main reason it's over here is because the trees are so dense here that I don't get much snow. I mean, there's snow, but you can see what I just spent the rest of the last couple hours shoveling. And this is the same winter's worth of snow, but the trees shed a lot of it away. So I do shovel this little path, but it's usually like this deep. On smaller snows, it'll only be an inch or two. And that is why I have the wood pile right exactly where it is. Obviously, as you can see, there is some snow, but so much less under these dense trees than where the house is. And yes, there's a reason the house isn't parked under dense trees For one, I don't want a tree to fall on it. Two, it would never get any sunlight at all over here. So anyway, this is the last little spot that I clear. And honestly, on a lot of storms, if we get like 6 or 7 inches or less, I don't even have to touch this. The trees shed almost all of it away, and I don't have any snow here. This over on this side where you can't really see what it is my wood bin that does have all of my firewood for the indoor fireplace covered and out of the weather. I just built it out of a tarp, some scrap lumber, and pallets that I was able to get for free. That's what happens when a big pile of snow does unload off the trees. And thankfully it did that right beside me, not on top of me. It's light enough that wouldn't hurt anything, but I would have been snowier than I am just now. That was just a night's worth of snow on the branches, finally getting heavy enough to dump itself off. Okie doke. So I am completely done shoveling at my house. That's what my normal routine looks like when it does snow and I need to shovel. This, as I said, having 16 inches over 9 hours, it's almost 2 inches an hour. That is the biggest dump we've got in that short amount of time this winter so far. So often it takes me less time, but worst case scenario, pretty much. Hi, I love you. I do. I'm talking to the other people, not to you. Worst case scenario, that takes me 2 hours to shovel out my place. Now, as I said, I got lots of other places to shovel, so I am going to run off. Well, we are. Yeah, we are. And we're going to go shovel other stuff. But that's what it looks like here once the snow is well over my head, getting close to level with the eaves. This is the beginning of February. According to the weather before this storm, our snowpack was about 80% of the long-term average. I don't know if this will bring us up closer to 100 or not, but this is not above average snowfall for the year here. And I expect if it's, again, average, it will snow for the rest of February, March, part or all of April, and how much of May or into June it snows depends on the year. So this is kind of the middle of winter for me here, and what it looks like around Nyth. For all of you who always wonder, how do I keep my pathways cleared, and what does shoveling look like, and so on, there you go. Thanks for watching, folks. If you're interested in more info on my off-grid tiny house life, check out some of my other videos here. And if you like what you're seeing, click the little picture of my house to subscribe and then hit the little bell so YouTube actually notifies you every time there's a new video available. See y'all next time.